You say good morning. Say hi. Say hi. Good morning, everybody. You guys ready to get things started? All right. It's just about 9:15, so I'm going to kick things off. Got to do my usuals. Thank you to Lion Creek for giving us the space. Thank you for Foxtail Coffee for giving us a discount. Thank you to Cody Media for paying for the coffee, although Ron had to step in today. Ron, thanks for picking it up and delivering the coffee. Thanks to Hero Donuts for the donuts and Abby for picking them up. And now we thank Abby for all the weekly emails and social posts that you see out there. And of course, Road Ready Events for this awesome mic system, which is removable. So you don't have to stand here if you want to carry it around. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And let's see. I think I've thanked everybody. And I don't think I have any other announcements. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share? No? Then let's. Oh, thank you, Abby. Is anybody here for the first time? Nice. You need another notebook. No new timers. Okay. Well, that's kind of good. And also, come on, people, bring some friends. Anyway, it's always good to see you guys. I won't give any notebooks out today. That's cool. Let's get. We have one. Is it your first time? Great. Excellent. Go ahead. Pen, notebook. Oh, you did already. Abby, you are on it. Abby is on it. Awesome. Cool. All right. So you may have met her before. Rooted Vines has been a bunch of times. She's come to Startup Fayette. I've gotten the chance to know her and her product. Well, maybe not the product, but the company. And I'm excited for you all to learn about her. So come on up and introduce yourself.
Thank you, thank you. I am Mayaka Anderson. I go by Maya, so don't get intimidated by my name. And I am the co-founder of Rooted Vines. I have a partner who happens to be my husband, and he helps work the business alongside me. Rooted Vines is a holistic herbal tea boutique, and we save lives one sip at a time with our herbal teas and inner alchemy. That is our motto for Rooted Vines. A little bit about me is I am originally from Anchorage, Alaska. I've traveled a little bit. I'm a mother of 6. I'm a grandmother of 7. And I've been here in Fayetteville for 2 years, and my business is 1 year and 3 months old. And I just want to say thank you, Fayetteville, because I have moved here and I feel like I got dropped in like a Hallmark city. Really, I do. Very encouraging, very supportive, warm people. It makes me feel like I'm back at home. So I want to kind of leave that behind. My career really consists of I was in the medical field for 28 years. The last 10 years of that, I was in emergency medicine. So I have been there when people have been at their lowest and have people have been at their highest. And that's usually when they've birthed a child. And it was something that I thought I would be in for the rest of my life. I really loved serving my community and serving people. I had to end that career because I had a really bad back injury and had 2 surgeries, and they told me I could no longer do patient care. So I had to find something else to do. Through this process, I've gone through a lot of changes, but Rooted Vines was really birthed out of a traumatic experience. So before I start to tell you my story and how Rooted Vines came to be, I just want to let you know that the story may be a little triggering, but it does get better at the end. So if you could just stay with me. All right. I don't know about you, but there was a time in my life where things weren't going so great. I hated my job at one point. I cried when I was in the shower. I didn't want to go. My kids were young. They were driving me crazy. I never had time for myself. I had a husband, not the husband now. I had a husband, but I might as well have been a single mom. And finances were ridiculous. I was like up to here. I felt like I was about to drown. And the only place I could find peace was Sunday at church, right? Because we're all taught go to church, you're going to pray, you're going to get your miracles, whatever you need. It's going to keep you going. And that's until December of 2007, where the pastor of my church was arrested for molesting 2 of my daughters. Forget about the water being here. I was now drowning. Everything about my life has now just crumbled. It was like a mirror dropping, and I was fractured everywhere. I felt like drowning and just like in a washing machine. I remember just feel like being thrown, and I couldn't think, I couldn't move. And when it all stopped, I ended up in a very dark place where I met 2 entities. One was suicidal ideation and the other was homicidal ideation. And I was best friends with them for 7 years, 7 whole years. And we just kind of ran the town. It didn't matter what I was doing because I was so lost. And I remember 7 years later, December of 2014, God is so good. I woke up in the morning and I had a song in my heart. I was so happy, I was ecstatic. But the reason I was happy was I was going to turn in my ticket to get validated to leave this realm. This was the day I was going to call it quits. And I remember getting up and I walked in the living room and I was thinking, well, how am I going to go ahead and make my exit? Am I going to leave a note? Am I going to say goodbye to anyone? And I remember a voice enter the room. And the voice told me to get up and go to the mirror. And my body and mind automatically obeyed. I didn't even think about it. And I ended up being in front of the mirror. And it said, what do you see? And me being hurt, woe is me, the only person in the world that's hurt. I see a great person, someone who didn't deserve to have all this happen. My family ripped apart, me and my unhappiness, and I'm always there for everybody, and I'm going on, and all of a sudden the truth appeared. And the truth appeared because I felt embarrassed and ashamed. I wasn't the person I thought I was. The truth was, yeah, you've hurt some people too. You got skeletons in your closet. You've gossiped, you've lied, you've done it all. Sin is a sin, whatever. But you have to face what you've done. And how did you get to this point? And that was the question. And then the voice kind of just left. I left the bathroom, and like I said, I had woke up with a song in my heart, but when I left the bathroom, it was dark outside. I don't know how long that process took. So I take myself, and I'm like walking out totally confused, right? And my 2 best friends are no longer there. It's just me. And it hasn't been me in a long time. And I go into the kitchen, and for some reason I say, oh, well, I'm going to make some tea. I guess this is a tea moment. So I'm not a tea drinker at that time. I go into the cupboard. You have that one little yellow box Lipton sitting up there that's been up there forever. You know what I mean? So I go and I take it, put it on the counter, and I say, okay, I'm just going to make some tea. So I walk over to the cabinet, and I have to bend down and open the cabinet. I open the cabinet door, and it's dark. And I think about my subconscious, the darkness, the things I didn't face. Now I got to reach in the cabinet, and I got to pull myself out. I'm the pot. I pull myself out, and I'm hard, and I'm not flexible, right? But you have to be when you enter this realm, right? Because you have so much being thrown at you. And you have to be because so many people are pouring into you. So I take the pot and I go to the sink and I run the water. And the water represents all the expectations, the perceptions that you have to live up to, all the rules that your parents gave you, your friends gave you, pastor gave you, whoever is pouring into your life. And you're filling up with all of this, right? And the world is over there heated up and ready for you because it knows that everything that's been poured in you is not cohesive. All the things, you can't do all the things. And all the things don't fit the box. And all the things don't fit you, but you don't know this. So you leave after being poured into. And you're sitting on that stove. And you're trying to put all these things into place. My mom said, my dad said, if I did this, the church said, if I did this, all of this is supposed to get me to this big American dream, right? But nothing is working. And you're wondering why. And all of a sudden the water's boiling. You're frustrated. You're mad. You're angry. You're giving up hope. And so while the water's there, I go and I grab a vessel, a coffee mug, a tea mug, and I put it down. And the thing about this is that this cup was made by a potter's hand. There was intention made with the cup. It was shaped to take the heat and the problem. It was already put in the in the fire to be solidified and glazed, right? And then I have the tea bag. And the tea bag is filled with your blessings and your promises, who you were supposed to be, your true purpose. Everything in the tea bag, is supposed to be who you were meant to be before everybody poured into you. But the problem is the tea bag is sitting in the vessel, and I'm sitting over here boiling on the stove. And at that moment, I hear a small voice say, take all your pain, your frustration, your grief, your loneliness, your anger, your confusion, your chaotic life, and I want you to pour it into the vessel. And so I pour it into the vessel. And you know what happens? It's no longer boiling. It's calm, right? It's calm, and it feels like peace has entered. And then I don't know if you're tea drinkers, but when you pour your water over in the vessel in the tea bag, you're supposed to cover it for 3 to 5 minutes. And in that 3 to 5 minutes, all of the benefits of those herbs and those leaves get to open up. And it starts to transform the water inside. So the 3 to 5 minutes, you can't walk away, right? Because something magical is happening in the cup. For me, I had to sit with my cup for 2 years to be healed, for my blessings to be released, for me to really understand who I was and let go of what I was and to move forward. So I sat there in 2 years for everything to unfurl, for everything to blossom, right? So in the tea, transformation is happening. Metamorphosis is going on, right? At that time. So for me, I was being renewed. My mind, body, and spirit. I was no longer the same person. I was being created to be a new creature. And then as I moved the saucer from the cup, when I looked in, I saw liquid gold. Liquid gold is what I saw. And I knew that it would be okay. I understood that tea was not just a beverage, but it was the way that I was living my life. It was the perception. It was the understanding that I was the captain of my ship, that it didn't have to be that way, that I didn't have to be the triangle trying to fit into a circle. And as I got ready to take my first sip, I hear a sweet voice say, now I can pour into you. Now there's room for me. Now you can hear what I have to say instead of everyone else. Now you can see what I have for you. And with Rooted Vines, that's what I really am focused on, changing lives, one sip at a time, understanding that you have to make time for yourself. Understand that you need to take moments to reflect. Are you the person that you truly designed to be? Or are you wearing a mask? And are you wearing a mask even when it's just you and you? Can you be honest with yourself? And tea is a tool that I use because when you drink tea, that is the time, whether you're blowing on it, whether you're waiting for it to open up, whatever it is, to stop and think and ask yourself the hard questions and to find out if what you're doing right now is really leading you to the life that you foresee for yourself. So again, Rooted Vines, where we save lives one sip at a time through herbal teas and inner alchemy. Thank you.
So I'm supposed to be on the mic. Sorry. Little not able to move around that easily right now. So 1 Million Cups asks me to ask you, what can we as a community do for you? Please let us know.
So Rooted Vines is just the e-commerce site now. And so one ask I have sample teas that I made, and I know not everyone has steepers, so I put the loose leaves in a tea bag. If you would like to grab a sample, write your name on the sign-up sheet, write your phone number, and then the tea you grabbed. I'm not putting you in my system or anything, but I really do need help with social proof. So if you take it and you put your phone number, tomorrow I'm just going to text you and ask you, how did you like the tea? And if you could give me an honest review where you feel that I could put your review on my site, that's all I need. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can take a picture of yourself drinking a cup of tea and then send me the picture so that I have social proof. But that is one thing that I really need for my site.
I just want to say, Maya, that was amazing. That was a great. I love hearing the story. I've heard it before, but I just love hearing your story. And I will. I'm a personal customer. I met her at a vendor event, and I bought her tea, and I've been a consistent customer ever since. It's just you can you can taste the love in her tea. You can taste it. It is curated for special. I've given it as gifts to people. It's just very special, and I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. As I was listening to your story, there is so much that is embodied and to be embraced in that. And I just think about just in comparison to life, sometimes we walk away from the hard things. Sometimes we walk away when we just need to let it steep for a moment. And I think of that when I'm thinking about your tea is that if you want to group that together with your life, grab a cup of tea, and the longer that it takes for that tea to reach its fullness in what it has to offer, then whatever the situation is that was going on, you've given it a chance to breathe, you've given it a chance to release, and you've given it a chance to grow. So I'm going to enjoy your tea. This is my daughter here. We'll take pictures, and I have a tea event coming up. So I'm excited to share that, and I'm excited that you're a part of our community.
Thank you so much.
Hi. I just wanted to know, as far as from a business model perspective, um, if you're comfortable in sharing, like your sales, profit, things of that nature. And also, how can we, I know it's e-commerce as far as purchasing. Are you transitioning into brick and mortar, or are you going to do affiliate to put your teas in existing stores?
Okay, so the first question, so Rooted Vines does very well at vendor events. Very, very well at vendor events. I am having a very hard time converting on the website. That's a whole nother thing. We are not doing well on the website. If it wasn't for our events, we probably wouldn't be here still. As far as the teas being affiliate, I would love to do that. We do offer wholesale on our site. At the footer, there's a wholesale link to do that. And my goal is to have a brick and mortar, but not a brick and mortar where I'm just selling tea. It's a brick and mortar where people can come in, and I have spaces where people can teach classes on how to better yourself. I want a garden out back where people can put their hands in dirt and commune with nature. I really want a healing space, not just a tea bar. But my whole focus is to really change lives and to really see people grow and become who God has created them to be in the first place.
Hi, Matt. I'm Aaron. We spoke on the phone yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And I was curious, do you have your, I don't know anything about teas, so please educate me. Do you have your own teas, or is this a personally curated selection of the teas that you identify with? Are you moving into your own teas? And also, it sounds like you may also do some education into like people like me who don't know anything about teas. Like, what exactly is it that you do, and or that Rooted Vines does, and what are you hoping to do from a business perspective?
So yes, so my teas are half and half. The herbal blends I make, some of the teas that are actually tea leaves, I do have a reputable source that I go through, and then some of those I will add to those because I don't have any tea leaf bushes. So I will add to those. I do a lot of education through my email series that I put out in our newsletters. I also do more education on inner alchemy, slow living, and holistic thinking on my YouTube channel. So you'll find more of that on that side. And Instagram is kind of a mix. And right now we're going through a transition, trying to do something a little different with my Instagram. So it may seem a little bare, but we're working on it right now. And so, yeah, I love to educate people on teas. Again, my background is medical. So there are always, tea is classified as traditional or folk medicine. But as you know, a lot of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for grandma or great grandma and the knowledge that they had other than the pharmaceuticals that we use today. And so I really want people to get right back to their roots, preventative maintenance, whether it's your diet, whether you're taking teas for wellness benefit, if you're trying to cut out soda, more of a sugarless drink, because you can drink it hot, you can drink it cold, you can make it the way that you want to make it. So yeah, definitely educating and me also learning how to make even more and more tea blends. Some of the blends came because people come to the event and they're like, oh, do you have a tea for this? Or do you have a tea for that? So I have like a list of things like, okay, how can I make a tea? What herbs go with this and what? Because not all herbs play well together. So don't just go throw some herbs together and think they don't all play together. So you could make a really dangerous concoction if you don't know about herbs. So I kind of warn people on that. But yeah, I'm trying to do my best to educate. But I'm really trying to do the conversion so that I have time to educate and the capital to do so.
Follow-up question then. When you do convert, what does your menu of products look like? Do you have a subscription I could do, so I'm recurring revenue every month or every week or as often as I'd like to order? Or is it a one-off where I would make a purchase, then have to come back to make another purchase? How do you work the transaction?
I do have a subscription. I have a subscription where you can get a different tea every month. I also have a deluxe subscription where you get a tea every month, a tea sample. You get our little jar of honey and spool that goes with it, and you get the tea leaf bags too for those who still like to do the dunking and all of that, and a steeper. And it all comes in a box, and so you'll receive that every month.
That's really cool. Thank you.
It is David Conti. So first of all, amazing presentation. Absolutely amazing presentation. I think for me personally, I think the brand is you, right? You're an amazing, incredible woman with an incredible story. Like something as simple as the picture, right? I'd love to see you up there, right? I'd love to see it highlight you. I didn't see an about us on the site, and we were talking about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
So something that's
you didn't find it?
I did it on my phone.
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
But like just something that says, maybe even the button there is just like, let me tell you my story, right?
Got it.
Kind of thing. I honestly, and I don't, not everything I say is smart, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't think you sell tea. I think you sell what you talked about, the process, right? I think the process of somebody using tea to alleviate their emotions, right, is the key to what you're selling. And I think you need to have some kind of package that I get a cup, I get maybe a timer, I get a instruction booklet that talks about in these 5 minutes that it's steeping, think about the darkness, think about your feelings, think about releasing those feelings, like, right? And so
Right.
I think the introductory product is a medication kit, meditation. Again, but I don't always say the intelligent things, right? And so I
Right.
think the tea is a added benefit. It's like the razor and the razor blades, right? The
Gotcha.
razor is what you're buying, but they're given to you for free so that you can buy the razor blades, right? And so the razor blades is where you make your money, but the
Okay.
razor handle is kind of just soft and, it's a process, right? Shaving's a
Right,
process.
it's a
And so
process.
why not have it where you're setting people up to be able to do this every morning, right? To be alleviate. And I have a vision of like sitting in my office, because I've been in the same place. I was driving to work for 2 hours a day, hating my life, right? Praying that God was going to do something for me. And the process of just sitting in my office to make tea to release the stress, I think is just a powerful vision in my mind personally. But I think there's a lot of Americans right now going through that. And I think everybody's place is different, right? You could be working at home, you could be, in a dead end job, you could be in an office, right? And so having the pictures and visions on your site representing somebody meditating through this cup of tea, I think is really, really
I
powerful.
love that. I love that. I do give out meditation cards with every package of tea that goes out, but I love the whole complete setup you just shared. It goes far beyond the meditation and affirmation cards. So yes, I love that. Great idea.
Hey, my name is John.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm over here. I'm probably being backlit, so you can't see me well. I got to stop going after David because I swear he always kind of like steals the question I have in my heart. It's a two-part question, and it was kind of addressed. And my question for you is, what is your unique proposition? Basically, like, what is it unique about you or your tea that when people go to your website, it's going to distinguish yourself from your competition?
So I have been to a lot of tea websites. I've been creeping around. And people love to sell you tea as a beverage. They want to sell you on the flavor, but no one's really selling you or offering to pour into your life. So my site is like it is. Like, you don't see a lot of tea on it unless you're going to the tea collection, because really Rooted Vines is about each and every one of you. It's not just about the tea. It's about your life and enhancing you and hoping that you come here, and even when you go on the site, that you feel a sense of calm. It's not chaotic. It's really cohesive, and I wanted it to be that way because I didn't want to just throw tea in your face, but I wanted you to understand that this thing it's a process. It's a lifestyle, right? It's not, I'm just buying tea and it just tastes good, but it's a lifestyle. I want you to think about the choices that you're making. And that's the reason it looks this way instead of just pushing tea, I guess. And I think that's really different and unique with me. And like I said on my YouTube channel, I may be drinking tea, but all of my conversations is about inner alchemy. All of my conversations is giving you steps to live a better life, to learn to be compassionate with yourself, forgive yourself, and to move forward and understand that everybody's on their own path. And so it may not look like yours, but it's okay for you to be you. And so that's how I feel Rooted Vines is different from most tea companies.
If I may be so bold, I feel like there's a disconnect between your story and your website.
Okay.
And kind of what David was alluding to a minute ago is that, like, he was talking about like the About Us, and you have to really dig down into the website to find that. I don't think Rooted Vines is separable from your story. And it's kind of like one of those things, people don't sell a cup of coffee, they sell the experience. They sell the companion, people meeting for cups of coffee. It's about the meetings, it's not about the coffee. And so even with Rooted Vines, what I'm hearing is it's not so much about the tea, and of course the tea is great. It's about people's stories. It's about kind of like, just like it was about your story. And I feel like, because you were talking about conversion.
Yes.
And for me, conversion is a two-part thing. And the first part is just going to your website. I feel like I would want to see more of your story woven into the website to feel like it gives a little bit more about the why. And I think your story is part of your unique proposition, because what is unique about your product versus someone else's product, it's about the culture of the tea. It's about, how this came about. Does that kind of like make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
And so I'm just saying, I would love to see when the website is beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful website. It's very clean, but I feel like with void of your story, void of that culture aspect of the tea, your website doesn't really have a unique proposition, and it kind of just blends in with any other website that is going to be selling tea.
Okay.
And so I just think that if you were to be more front about your story, about what the culture behind this, that people would identify with the culture, and identifying with the culture, then they buy the tea. The second part of what I was going to say, I find that 90% of the time, and I just made that statistic up.
Well done.
60% of the time, it works every time. I find about 90% of the time that when people say that they have a conversion problem, there's really a problem about driving traffic to the site than it is about conversion. Quality traffic. Could you speak into kind of like how you're currently driving traffic to your website?
So right now I do organic, and I am running ads on Facebook that splits them up between Facebook and Instagram. This week I will be doing more ads, but this time I'm not running them to my website. I have created 2 landing pages that I will be running them to, where you only have an option to buy the offer that I'm having. So I'm going to see how that works. And that's in the process this week.
Well, one of the things, because my wife and I, we do video production. One of the strongest things that we do when we create ads is we make the hero of the story about the people, not the product. And I can only imagine that maybe with the ads, you might be kind of like front and center with like, this is tea, it's amazing. And I'm sure it is. But just, putting shots of the product doesn't necessarily drive traffic. Right. I would just encourage you, like when you're creating ads, just like with your website, make it about the culture, make it about the story. And, people will identify more with story. And because the thing is, make this, it's like the hero of the story is about what comes out of tea time, tea between friends, tea between colleagues, whatever. That's the story. And that's what people are going to identify more with. So if you are creating that type of traffic, I would encourage you to find story like that, even your own story, and let that be kind of front and focus. And then people identify that, then more probably likely to kind of drive traffic to your website versus just like a hero shot of like a tea bag or like a nice clean looking bowl, which doesn't really, it's not really going to stand out in a sea. Because I mean, if they're already getting ads for tea, they probably are getting a whole bunch of ads for tea.
Right.
So that's my recommendation for your unique proposition and standing out amongst the competition.
Okay, I love that. Love it.
Sorry, I was trying to go. No, I saw your hand up.
So Maya, you know how I feel about you. Tea is great, but you're great. And to echo what the gentleman just said, and mostly everybody else, love your tea, but it's really not about the tea. It's really about you and your story. I see you, I've spoken, heard you speak several times, and I believe that you are a motivational speaker, an empowerment speaker. You speak with authority and passion and healing. You speak healing because you're healed. So many times coaches are out here talking, but they haven't been healed themselves, and we can feel that, right? But you have gone through the process. You've done the work, and it shows through how you speak. And I truly feel like if you, like the gentleman said, really make that part of your mission, because your mission is not tea. It is empowering other people to live their best self. So maybe that's a little consideration to maybe do events surrounding the empowerment, and tea is the accessory to the empowerment. Maybe it's a tea class where the gentleman said, I don't know anything about tea, but if he did, maybe he would see it in the culture, like he said, and then buy the tea to go along with the culture. So maybe think about that. My space is always open to you to sit down and let's do a tea class. Create your own teas, do your own thing. What is your ailment? What is your mental situation? Whatever it is. But I think that right there is different. Not a lot of people are doing that. And the people that I do know have done stuff like that are way up in the city on the South Side. I don't know of anything like that personally, right? So I think down here on the South Side, we have to really think out of the box and think about the things that are not here, that are in the city, that people travel from here to there to go get and bring it down here. And I think that you'll, be knocking it out of the park. But you're amazing. Love you. Always support you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we've established that you are a great presenter. That was a great story to tell, and I really enjoyed it. I met you 2 weeks ago, maybe?
I think so.
That was my first time meeting you. And we talked about a competitor. I won't say the name. But I think the key compared to that competitor is you. She has a great story too, but I need it to be more visible. I need you to tell, the story. I'm on your page now, and I had a tough time. Tell me if it's me, anybody else, with the links to social media, and that it could be me because I don't have all of them. Certain ones I don't do. But make sure those links work and that your face is on there, that you're visible. Someone else has already said that.
Yes.
And last week we had Woodhouse Spa, a local spa here.
Yes.
And that's my tea time when I go to the spa. Okay. So you're talking to an audience, and most people in here that know teas are women. So I think you figured out your demographic and why we're so passionate about it, but just taking that me time. And I like to do it daily, to sit in my headspace, start my day, end my day. And it may be a 10, 15-minute devotional where you're enjoying your tea, but it's a process. So then you become part of my process. I love it. So I don't have to order my teas from that other person anymore. I can get it locally, and have a subscription come to my home.
Yes.
Because it was her education piece that sold me. And the health benefits, too, is why I subscribe to her. So Woodhouse Spa, if you weren't here last week, you might want to connect with her for her teas. Okay.
I watched her online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
really good.
Great.
Just two things. When I seen you on stage and you were telling your story, I might mess up her name, but you remind me of Ayala, Fix My Life. Yeah, what's her name? Okay, I can't pronounce it, but you remind me of her. But when I scroll on your social, and I'm gonna help you out a little bit. Last month, I reached 50,000 people without even running ads. And I just go online every day. I figure out what is the algorithms, what people talk about, and then I center my message around that. You get what I'm saying? You are an expert, and like how Ms. Karen said, you speak well, and I think people buy from you. I was just telling Ms. Doris, like, I'm doing a youth conference, and we just finished the website. Everybody, how you gonna get 300 people in there? But last night we had 20 people subscribe. I mean, they bought tickets already. And I just posted on like 4 or 5 groups. But the fact that I'm active online and I'm preaching about God and uplifting people, that soon when I did it, it's like, oh, boom. You get what I'm saying? But you're the expert. So they're buying from you. I always like to use the next day pill. Have you ever seen that commercial? You see a lady, she wakes up, she's yarning, she's dancing, and then she slides down the stairs, and then she opens the door, and then she's like this. And then it says, the morning after pill. It had nothing to do with the actual pill. It was the feeling of relief, how she felt in the morning when she was waking up. So the fact that if you focus on you and you just give people knowledge on the tea, like today, I'm just tell you, if you're going with anxiety, you can do it in 60 seconds. And do constant videos every single day, people will flock to you. Miss Karen does it a lot too. So she be on there, she talk, she go live, and she build a following to the point where people believe in what she does because it's proof. So you just got to show the proof. Like it need to be you sipping the tea, something like this on the cover or something like that. And then you should have like blogging. You're blogging about different stuff, and then your story. You said you had a story, so use it for His glory. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not even posting anything about the tea. You might see me holding the tea, and I'm telling you what it does. That's it.
Okay.
And that's how you can convert your sales into social media, because it becomes organic. Soon when you start talking about contact us, go to my website, the algorithms go down. Because you don't even have to put anything on the captions. Like, sometimes people tag and use hashtags. Hashtags don't even really work as efficient as it did back in the day.
Okay.
It's not where it is. Like you can just post and don't even put anything, and it still go out to the people that's pretty much looking for the stuff. But you just gotta be consistent.
Okay.
That's it.
I love that.
But you're an amazing person. You have an amazing story. I know sometimes it can be discouraging because you want the sales to go up, but trust me, God is going to see you through. You didn't already got out the shadows of the valleys of death. You never got out there.
I tell people that all the time. I've already walked that walk.
You on top of the mountain right now. So I just wanted to, shine some light. You're glowing. The grace on your face is growing. And sometimes we get discouraged.
Yeah.
But you just got to surround yourself around people that's doing things, and and eventually it's going to take off. And use that story. I'm telling you. That story need to be online. That need to be your first post.
And
Let
I
me tell you.
struggle with that because
A
I
girl
didn't
went
know.
viral. A
It's
girl-
so triggering that I didn't want to like turn people off of putting the story on the website. So thank you for sharing that because that kind of just answered
And then
answered my
not only
question.
that, just for a reminder, this girl, she went online and she started talking about how her husband, she got divorced. It went viral. And somebody even bought her a car and a trip to wherever she was talking about. You just need people to see you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. That helps a lot.
That's it.
Yeah.
And let's go.
A lot of confirmations.
The one point I'm going to add here, you talk about your story not being recorded. It was recorded today and it's going out.
Thank you. It is. It is. Got it.
To piggyback off of what he said, they are right. This person went and told their whole sordid story and faced judgment and the fire, and they are signed to the same agency as Tabitha Brown now.
Wow.
Right? And Shonda Rhimes. That's a lot. Your story is a little bit different from hers, but it's authentic. And I'm not saying hers isn't.
Right.
But there are too many people that can resonate with your story, that understand the feeling, even if they took different paths to get there. It's the same feeling of helplessness and hopelessness, and they're looking for a release. So please, please, please do not be afraid to share that story. If you feel like you got to put a trigger warning over it, put a trigger warning on it, like you just did with us a minute ago. I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to tell my story. And then that's your disclaimer, and that's it. But please stop that. Please, please, for real though.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, as everyone else has said, fantastic. I would encourage you to really hit the public speaking circuit. Digital's beautiful, but analog's great too, and they're symbiotic. What we're doing here is being live streamed.
Right.
So looking at your webpage and the pop-up events, the Atlanta Jazz Festival, all that's fantastic. But I would really encourage you to hit the civic clubs, women's groups, churches, Rotary. Every county has cities, and all those cities have civic clubs. And as someone who's spoken at those groups, the biggest thing I hear is, please don't be boring. I mean, honestly, that I've heard that from, and you are not. So I would encourage you to do that, and you could just load up your docket from now until Christmas. So,
thank you so much. That's a great idea.
Anyone else? Did you still have something?
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys all for being here and for showing such incredible support. I look forward to seeing everybody again next Wednesday. And if anybody needs anything, you know where to find me.
And please remember to take a tea and sign up.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone.